This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one website builder. Hey guys! Today I'll be talking about how I film and edit all my videos. First, let's talk about what I use to film and how I film things. The camera I usually use is a Canon EOS Rebel SL2. I've had the camera for about 2 years, but I only started using it consistently for my videos about 8 months ago. My favorite feature of this camera is that it has a flip-out screen that I can use to monitor whatever I'm filming, no matter where I am relative to the camera. I normally use the lens that comes with the camera, aka the kit lens, which is the EFS 18 to 55mm lens. The 18 to 55mm range is perfect for any indoor shots that I usually have to do, and especially if I'm in my room all the time. Throughout the video, I'll just use this lens. I actually bought the camera as a bundle with 3 lenses in total. So the 2 other lenses are a standard 50mm lens, which is really good for low light because it has a really large aperture. But in return, you can't zoom with it because it has a fixed focal point. So that's why I usually can't really use this much. But it is really nice for nighttime / late evening photography. The last lens I have is the 75 to 300mm mega zoom lens, I guess you could call it. It's meant for long distance shots, such as if you were taking a picture of the moon or the sun, which is why it doesn't get much use in my videos. This lens is also pretty dang hefty, which is why it doesn't really match well with my cheap tripod, which I will show later in the video. To be completely honest, I was planning to use these lenses a lot more when traveling during the summers and at college, but clearly that didn't really happen, but either way, whenever that does happen, I will be sure to use these lenses. One of the reasons I decided to invest in a DSLR for my videos is the amount of flexibility and options you get and the control you have over various parts of the filming process, such as ISO, aperture, frames per second, that you don't normally get as much on an iPhone, even though they are steadily improving iPhones nowadays to have more. The tripod I use with my camera is the Amazon Basics 60-inch lightweight tripod in aluminum. Honestly, it's a pretty alright tripod. Can't really handle heavy lenses as I mentioned previously though, so do consider that when you're making your purchase. I also have this mount for when I need to use the tripod with my iPhone, which perfectly brings us into my next point, which is filming with your iPhone. The iPhone I have is the iPhone XR, and I usually use the iPhone when I'm too lazy to get my camera outdoors or when I'm outside vlogging outside of my house. And honestly, the iPhone camera is pretty underrated because it can film in 4K, at least for my model. And although you can't really get the blurred out bokeh effect of a DSLR to that extent, it's still really nice color and image quality. So I think it's really nice for when you're starting out with your channel and you don't have to go out and buy a complete separate camera when you have your iPhone right there. To be honest, the iPhone is really great at picking up light, especially natural light, and golden hour pictures are really pretty on the iPhone. Here's an example of the bokeh effect that I was talking about that the iPhone doesn't really do as well as the DSLR. You can kind of tell that there's a lot more of an airy feel, dreamy feel that when you're filming with the DSLR, in my opinion at least. The most noticeable difference though comes when you try to zoom in on both cameras, because the DSLR zoom is fantastic and the iPhone just gets more pixelated. I also like to use this app on my iPhone called 8mm, which is basically a old style film camera effect app, which you can choose from many different filters that are all free. I like to use this sometimes to create intros or little transitions, as you have seen in this video already probably. I usually tend to stick to the 2-color filter, and as you can see here, the app also lets you change the frame shape / border. So in summary, for the filming segment, if you have an iPhone X or higher, I really don't think you need a DSLR to begin with on your channel. But honestly, if you really want to and you have the money, just go for whatever you want, I guess. And so before we get on to the next segment, which is editing, I have an exciting announcement as well as a sponsorship to talk about. So today's video is sponsored by Squarespace, a website builder platform that I'm currently using to actually build my own blog. And they have tons of beautifully designed templates with layouts and fonts that are already very modern and pleasing to the eye, so even people with no design experience can easily design their own website. And I honestly believe they really made the process of making your own website and establishing an online presence so much easier and straightforward. Personally, I've always wanted to start a blog since I was little, and so finally having the chance to make a blog that is a continuation but also something different from my YouTube channel has been a really fun activity to work on between study sessions and during breaks. I feel like having a blog will allow me to elaborate and do a lot more writing than I am allowed to in my videos, because there's only so much that captions can really convey, and a lot of times I have a lot of thoughts that I don't express fully into my videos. So I kind of like the blog as an extension of that. Also, I just really like writing. If you're like me and you've always wanted to start your own website, make sure to try out their free trial on squarespace.com. And if you end up really liking it, you can use my link below at squarespace.com/cafe.studyy to get 10% off your first domain or website. And now on to part 2 of this tutorial video, which is the editing process. The computer I use to edit and do all my schoolwork as well is the MacBook Pro 13-inch with 256 gigs of storage, which I'm so glad I ended up getting because I ended up using almost all of it. So after I filmed all the clips for a video, I will import them using a micro USB cable from my camera to the Photos app on my MacBook. After a few minutes, all the clips have been imported, and I will move them to a special folder on Finder that I've made just for clips for that video, and I will start organizing them by the date that they were filmed. Usually it does that by itself though. Next, I'll open Final Cut, which I was able to luckily get from a work that I did during the summer, and I'll make a new library and name it the title of the video. The library will open, and then I'll create a new project, which I'll name the same title. Once the new project has been made, we can open up Finder and go to the folder that we just made, and then import directly all the clips just by dragging them into Final Cut. You can see here that the clips are about 2 hours, which to be fair isn't as bad as it usually is for a study vlog. Anyway, I usually like to skim through the clips and delete any blurred or too overly exposed clips that I know won't be using at all. It's kind of a good warm-up step for me to kind of get into the editing mindset. While I do this, I also kind of get an idea of the overall theme of the vlog, and I'll also start looking for a few potential thumbnails that I can screenshot and save to the Finder folder to be used later. Then I'll go back to the beginning of the video and add a little breaker for my intro clips between the actual video and the intro itself, so that way I can go back and add excerpts of the most interesting clips after I finish trimming. Then I just add a random soundtrack to the video that I can edit and trim the clips to, because if I trim the clips in silence it gets really boring, so I have to have something on. Either I'll add music directly into the video, or I'll play some music out loud outside in my room while I'm editing. After all the videos have been trimmed, or when I have hit my breaking point and I can't trim videos anymore, then I will go on to captions, where I write most of the commentary that goes with my videos that you'll see in most of the study vlogs that I do. If it's a voiceover video like this one is, then I will do voiceover at this step instead of captions, but usually it's captions. Here are some of the fonts that you'll probably see in most of my videos. And that's really about it. Any other edits that I do is really just unique to each and every video, so I don't really know how I could explain it here, but maybe I'll make separate editing tutorials for specific editing effects that I'll do in the future. Anyway, after I'm done with the video, I'll add a end screen that I made in Canva from Finder, and then I'll also add a cross dissolve just to make the video fade a bit nicer. And that's really all there is to it. Very simple and non-fancy edits, even if they still take a while. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.